I'm from Taylor University. Today I want to present about Frank Lloyd Wright life. Frank Lloyd Wright was born on 8th of June 1867 in Richland Center, Wisconsin. His father and his mother Anna was from a large Welsh family, and his father was a preacher and musician. His family moved frequently when he was 12 years old. A year later, Wright began apprenticeship with the Chicago architect firm of Edel and Sullivan, working directly under Louis Sullivan, the great American architect best known as the father of skyscraper. Sullivan, who rejected ornate European style in favor of a cleaner aesthetic summed up by his massive form-follow function, had a profound influence on Wright, who was eventually carried to completion. Sullivan dreamed of defining a uniquely American style of architecture. Wright worked for Sullivan until 1893, when he breached their contract by accepting private commission to design home and the two-part way. In 1899, after he began working for Louis Sullivan, he was 22 years old and married with a girl whose name Catherine Robin was 19 years old, and they had 6 children together. They lived at Oak Park, suburb of Chicago, known as the Frank Lloyd Wright Studio and Architecture Masterpiece. It was there that Wright established his own architecture practice upon leaving Edel and Sullivan in 1893. The same year, he designed the Winslow House in River Forest, which with its horizontal axis and expansive open interior space is the first example of Wright's revolutionary style, later dubbed organic architecture. Over the next several years, Wright designed a series of resident and public buildings that became known as the leading example of the Prairie School of Architects.
Frank Lloyd Wright was passed away on 9th of April 1959 at the age of 91, 6 months before Guggenheim was opened its door. Frank Lloyd Wright, who considered the greatest architect of the 20th century, an American architect all of time. His perfect American style simplicity, natural and beauty in contrast to elaborate and had prevailed in Europe. He lived on through the beautiful building he designed, as well as through the powerful and enduring idea that guide all of his work. Buildings should serve to honor and enhance the beautiful environment. I would like to have a free architecture, Frank Lloyd Wright said. Architecture that belongs there where you see it standing. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paxin. Today I would like to talk about the design concept and the project of Frank Lloyd Wright. As you know, Frank Lloyd Wright is a talented architect or designer. He had been completed for over 500 works, this including the houses, office, and also museums. Frank Lloyd Wright promoting the organic architecture. This concept is about promoting the harmony between the man-made structure with the nature around. Besides, Wright is also the leader of Paris School. The Paris houses was categorized by the low horizontal line which were made to blend with the flat landscape. Frank Lloyd Wright also developed the concept of Usonian. So, let me explain about some project of Frank Lloyd Wright which contain the concept above. Firstly is the Harry Barrett's house. It is the first and the best example of Paris school residential designed by French Rock Wright. The house is low to the ground, hugging the earth, and only the half of the height of some of its neighboring houses. The facade of the house features a gabled roof with the eave. The first floor of the Barrett's house is laid out in an almost cuneiform layout. It contains both kitchen and the living room on one end, and the other end is the dining room and the reception area. It was also the first in which French Rock Wright exercised total control over the interior, including the furnishings, carpets, and unite arch glass window. Next is the Falling Water or Coffin Residential. It is special and famous because it is a house that doesn't even appear to stand on a solid ground, but instead stretches out over a waterfall. It is built based on the concept of organic architecture. Wright designed the falling water to look like it was blending into the surrounding. Falling water also has flat rooftop and it has the built-in furniture. The characteristics of the house are metal casing window, flat rooftop, and curtain walls of glass. The other characteristics are large rectangular window, linear elements such as channel and absence of cornicles. The cantilevers was used to make the balcony of the house look like floating on the bottom floor. The other architectural component of the falling water is the steel brick, concrete, and stretch stone. The house does not have a spectacular door, but instead it has a cave-like entrance. The falling water also has a big bounder on the living room floor, and there is a waterfall below the house. The following project is the first Herbert and Catherine Jacobs house. The first Jacobs house is the purest and the most famous application of Wright's Euphonium concept. What is Euphonium concept? Euphonium concept is a term that referring to a group of approximately 60 medium income family houses designed by the French Rock Wright. The term beginning with the Jacobs house. The Jacobs house is built for a newspaperman named as Herbert Jacobs within $5,000 US. It's mainly made of bricks and wood. Wright provides the Jacobs with an open L-shaped floor plan laid out on a grid of 2 by 4 foot units with a total measurement of 1,550 square feet. To economize the construction cost, Wright development of 57 mm plywood sandwich wall for the house. In conclusion, French Rock Wright promoting the harmony between the building and the nature in designing building. There is not only can be seen in his work, but also can see in his works. He has been said that no house should be ever built on the hill or on anything. It should be off the hill, belonging to it. Hill and house should live together, each the happier for the others. If you are interested to getting know more about the French Rock Wright's design concept, works or projects, you can log on to www.wrightschoolarchitecture.com or www.wrighttheworld.net, or you can search on www.google.com and type French Rock Wright. That's all for my talk. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lily Tan. Today I would like to talk about contribution of French Rock Wright. French Rock Wright was an American architect, interior designer, writer and educator who designed more than 1,000 structures and completed 532 works. Wright believed in designing structures which were in harmony with humanity and its environment, a philosophy he called organic architecture. Unlike many of his contemporaries who accepted such changes with reluctance, Wright welcomed and embraced the social and technological change made possible by the Industrial revolution and enthusiastically initiated his own architectural revolution. Inspired by the democratic spirit of America and the opportunities it afforded, he set out to design buildings worthy of such a democracy, dismissing the masquerade of important history European styles most American favor. His goal was to create an architecture that addresses the individual physical, social, and spiritual needs of the modern American citizen. To Wright, architecture was not just about buildings. It was about nourishing the life of those sheltered within them. Frank Lloyd Wright was a genius far ahead of his time, a fact demonstrated by the countless innovations he made which are now commonplace in modern architecture. He called his architecture organic and described it as that great living creative spirit which from generation to generation, from age to age, proceeds, creates according to the nature of man and his circumstances as they both change. During a lifetime that covered nearly a century, Wright took full advantage of the material opportunity presented by the unprecedented scientific and technological advance of the 20th century without losing the 19th century spiritual and romantic values with which he had grown up. In the process, he transformed the way we live. Frank Lloyd Wright did more than just architecture. All of his designs were integrated systems. He contributed the concept of breaking the box to modern architecture, like moving the columns away from the corners and opening up spaces to the outdoors. He also conceived of the taproot as a means of supporting tall structures that mimic forms found in nature. Frank Lloyd Wright Unity Temple in Chicago is largely considered to be the first building in the world to use concrete as an ornamental element, that is to no longer separate from form function. This building is both beautiful and historically significant. Deliberately designed by Wright to be earthquake resistant, the Tokyo Imperial Hotel not only survived the worst earthquake in the history of Tokyo more 2 years later. It helped save buildings around it and provided shelter to the displaced. Originally conceived of in Roman Bath and in Asia, Frank Lloyd Wright modernized the concept that brought it into the world of contemporary architecture. Wright himself grew up close to the land and in touch with its creative processes, and it gave him constant inspiration for his architecture. He believed architecture must stand as a unified whole, grow from and be a blessing to the landscape, all parts relating and contributing to the final unity, whether furnishings, plantings, or work to art. To materially realize such a result, he created environments of carefully composed plans and elevation based on a consistent geometric grammar, while skillfully implementing the integration of the building with the site through the compatibility of materials, form, and method of construction. Through simplification of form, line, and color, and through the rhythmic play of parts, the poise and the balance, the respect the forms pay to the materials, and the repose these qualities attend to. Wright created plastic, fluent, and coherent space that complement the changing physical and spiritual life of the people who live in them.